Let's talk about finding single variable statistics using a TI-83 or TI-84 calculator. What I mean by that is finding things like mean, median, standard deviation, stuff like that. So this is all going to take place under the stats button here. So if you press stat, the first thing you're going to do is have to input your data, and you do that by editing the lists that exist. So if you hit enter on option 1 there, it's going to take you into all of these lists, and you can input data in any list that you want. If you go in here and some of your lists have things in them already, you'd probably want to clear those out and restart. So the way that you would do that is, again, by hitting stat, and then option 4 is clear list. You just have to tell it which list you would want to clear. So if you want to clear list 1, can you see the little L1 in blue above the 1 and L2 in blue above the 2? You just have to hit second and then 1 to get L1 and hit enter, and it would clear that list for you. So our lists were clear, so we're ready to go ahead and input that data. So you can just type it in. So you hit whatever it is that you're trying to input and hit enter. That'll be the first item. So let's say it's 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 0, and then 6 and 3. Now that we have all of that in our actual list, we can go ahead and do some calculations. So if you hit stat again, and now over here, instead of editing any lists, we want to actually do some calculations. So if you arrow to the right to calculate, we want one variable statistics. So you're going to go ahead and choose that option. It's typically option 1, but on your calculator, if it's not, just choose whatever option it is. It makes sure that we're choosing from the correct list. So if you had things in multiple lists, L1 and L3 and L5 or whatever, you have to tell it which list to look at. So we're looking at L1. Again, if you needed to change that, you would just go over here and hit second, and then whatever button you need to choose the correct list. The next part, you can just leave that blank. You don't have to do anything with that, and you can arrow down to calculate, hit enter, and it's going to show you all of your single variable statistics. So as a reminder, this X bar, this is 2.625. This means the mean of this particular data is 2.625. The summation, this is basically just saying what happens when you add up all of your data. So when we add up 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 0, 6, and 3, we get 21. It's going to talk about other things, standard deviation. We're not going to worry about that yet. N equals 8. This is just the number of items in your list. The minimum and the maximum, those are the smallest values and the largest values in your list. If you had to find the range, you could use this if it was a really big list to find the maximum and the minimum, and you could just subtract. You can see quartile 1 and quartile 3. If you remember doing box plots in Algebra 1, this is something that you utilize then. And then we have the median here was 2.5. So you'll notice it does not calculate mode for you. That's something that you would have to do on your own. But it does do mean and median. And like I said, you could get the range from doing the max minus the minimum.